So it is what similar to uh, what we have discussed in. I will give a recap of last segment what we had covered regarding composition with vector function. So all these are very general kind of technique. All these are based on previous kind of convexity of a function, where you might have already seen convexity of function in a very easy way. So based on those previous knowledge, you can establish convexity of complicated function. So it is not much. There would be no very complicated kind of computation. It would be very simple kind of result or implication kind of result. Mostly it would be here. So outline of my today's lectures are the following. First, I would like to discuss about as a recap composition with vector function. Then I will go to discuss about minimization or partial minimization. That means if you are having a function where what we do, we break the argument in two blocks. Like first block we are calling it x, and second block we are calling it y. And this function, if suppose this function f is convex, then what we do, so we will try to minimize this function partially. That means either we will minimize with respect to x, or we will minimize with respect to y. So in that process, what we will observe that under this, that's why this minimization we are calling it partial minimization. It is not a complete minimization, it is a partial minimization. So partial minimization is also preserving convexity. But if you go generally from general perspective, if you are willing to minimize a function, then the minimization of a function, it is not preserving convexity. But partial minimization, it is preserving the convexity of a function. And later I will discuss about perspective. What does it means that if you are having function f, then and suppose that the function is a convex function, and if you define a perspective of this function, so this function has been transformed to a new function g of xt. It is something like in epigraph, you have already seen that. So in epigraph concept, we are taking in introducing a new variable t is always taking value, and non-negative, it is taking positive value. So this function, if you define a new function g of xt such that uh, g of xt equal to t times f of x divided by t, what does it do? That means you are having just function f, and that function happens to be a convex function. And in that f, what you do, first you do a multiplication with a scalar t positive, where t must be greater than 0, and x is coming from the domain of the given function x f. So x is coming from domain of f. Okay, so what we observe, so here if you try to see it closely, you do what, you change the argument of uh, given function f by a new argument that we are calling it perspective argument, you can call it. That means you divide the argument of f, given function f, by t. Then this one is the new argument. After that, what you do, you multiply the function by a same constant t. Then whatever new function you are getting, you observe that it is having one extra variable, that one is t. So this function, you can call it, it is function of x as well as t, and name of this function is projective function. It is related with the projection of epigraph, projection of epigraph to the graph of the function. So that's why it is, its name is a project perspective. So later I will discuss in detail. Then I will talk about conjugate function if time permit. So I am coming to again recap of composition with vector function. So here I will talk about systematic approach to deal with the composition of with vector function and how it preserve convexity. It is not. I have already mentioned that generally composition of two convex function may not be a convex function, but in a specific scenario, if you do composition, then definitely it will preserve convexity. So here, that what was that scenario? So if you are taking a vector function, G, that one is from defined from Rn to Rk. That means Rn is the domain space and Rk is the target space or codomain space. And then you are defining a scalar valued function h from Rk to R. In such a way, you define a composition of uh, h with G. G you can directly call it outer function, and h is the in, inner function or inside function. So just you need to see that the composition, it might be clear to everyone. There is no issue. So here we put a condition that it would be this composed function of h and g, it would be convex in two scenario. One scenario is that if inside function g is convex and h is convex, apart from that extension of this h, it is also non decreasing. Don't confuse with this word non decreasing. It simply says that in a layman way, increasing function. So given notation, this one increasing function notation, always we give this kind of arrow. That means h is a increasing function as well as convex function. So under that pattern, the composed function f would be a convex function. Similarly, there is one more criteria. If your inside function g happens to be a concave function and h happens to be a convex function, apart from convexity of h is also non-increasing. That means you can say that it is a decreasing function in layman way with respect to each argument. Then we can say that this function is a this composed function is a convex function. So in two scenario, composition of vector function, it is a convexity. So I would proof is simply implied from this derivative relation. From here easily in last class I had already discussed. I won't go much detail in proof. I will go to discuss few examples. So through example, if we clear composition, then it would be much better. So what we observed that previously we have already discussed that if you are taking a collection of convex function and if you are summing it up, then sum of convex function always happens to be a convex function. So similar criteria you can observe that this relation also you can relate with composition with vector function. What will happen here? What is h? So here always you need to find in the vector composition, always you need to find a function h which would be convex and increasing. Then you have to find inside function g. What is g? So these two functions. Then you will talk about if h is convex and increasing and g happens to be convex, then composition of g with h, it would be a convex function. So that is the criteria. So I will convert here this sum of convex function is convex in term of this result. How? So we observe that here we will call what is the h? H is here actually sum. H function is sum. If you define sum of function always a fun. It is talking about one function, sum function. So sum is one kind of function. You can call it. It is a sum function. So h is a sum function, and we know that h is always sum is always convex. So sum of convex function is convex. So it is all sum is always convex as well as increasing in argument. If you keep on adding argument in sum, definitely you will observe that it is increasing with respect to argument. So what is the argument? It is very simple way. What is meaning of argument? If you are having function of two increasing an argument, if you are having function of two variable x and y, then this function is having two argument. Don't consider that is x is one variable and y is one variable. Here x may be any vector, any dimensional vector, y may be any dimensional vector. So is increasing or non-decreasing. What does is increasing? That means I am just giving short notation. Increasing notation is this one. So what does it mean? When it will increase? If there are two patterns to define it. If you take any first argument is your x, take a, so it is a, so suppose a scalar, suppose it is a scalar kind of thing. So take any two value of first argument and x1 is less than x2, it implies you are not doing anything with y is here uh, fixed. So you are changing, playing with x1. You try to see monotonicity or increasiness with first argument x. So it implies h of x1 comma y less than equal to h of x2 is just extension of whatever increasing function of one variable you have studied. It is similar to that, and apart from that, because it is having two argument y is also, so it is not this monotonicity is not complete. You have to define one more relation that it is talking about. And now we will talk about with respect to second argument y1 y. So take any two value of y1 from the domain y1 such that y1 is less than y2, and it implies that f of h of x comma y1 less than equal to, so it is increasing uh, argument wise. This increment we are calling it h of x y1 is less than equal to h of x y2. So this is the criteria of defining uh, monotonicity with respect to argument if there are more than one argument. So that is the criteria. So here we can observe that sum of convex function h is your sum function, and what is the inside function? It is composed, it is a collection of m number of function. So like so call this inside function g. So you can say that it is a what kind of function? It is a vector function. So from that perspective, h of gx, if you can define it like this way, this composition of h with this g, you can define it as a summation of m number of functions. And what condition we have taken? The each component f1, f2, f up to a fm, all these are convex. Due to that, you can say that this one is sum of convex function is convex. We had already seen that. Due to the, so you can say that sum of convex function is convex is just a special case of composition with vector function. It is a special case, you can say like that. So clearly you can say that some function, it is clearly some function is always happens to be a convex function, and it is non-decreasing, that means increasing in each with respect to each argument. So one example we have already taken. So you can apply all those three properties, and you can look into. So if you are taking f of x1 x2 equal to minus log of x1 x2, it doesn't look like sum of two convex function, but you have to take it like this way. So apply the property of logarithmic, then it will take for minus log of x1 minus log of x2. So what does it look like? So it is a sum of two convex function. We always know that. So step 5 we will try to see that. If you see this function, call it f1. This one is f2. So we always know from function of one variable that minus log x is having this kind of curvature. So that's why minus log x is a convex function. So from there you can deduce that minus log x1 is a convex. Similarly, minus log x2 is a convex. So summation of two convex function is always a convex function. So from there also you can say that. But if you try to relate it with this concept, from here also you can give another description. So here simple right now summation preservation of convexity under summation is fine to explain this problem. Later I will discuss another example. So example of composition with vector function that preserve convexity. So here pointwise maximum also you can express as a composition with vector field. So what would be here h function? That outside function would be your this pointwise maximization happens to be outside function, and these would be, if you take all these m number of convex function in together, then it will make your inside function G. So in the similar form, what we had discussed regarding summation of convex function, the maximization, pointwise maximization is also a special case of composition with vector function. So that's why H is a convex function. So here one example again I have taken. If you take maximum of several affine function, then it will give a what kind of maximum of several affine function? It will give a piecewise linear function. So piecewise linear function of this structure. So it is always having a positive curvature. So one homework you can do that, find the maximum of quadratic collection of quadratic function. So what kind of, so find the maximum of X transpose P X. Yeah, P is keep on changing. Uh, so try to maximize this function. What kind of structure you will get? You will see that it is a quite simply quadratic function. So try to maximize with respect to X what you will get. Now, main important thing is that here in vector composition of with vector composition, we will try to find a several first thing that how to establish uh, convexity of log sum x. So convexity of log sum x also we had already seen during second characterization of second order characterization of convexity, because log sum exponential function is a very nice function and differentiable. So and if you can easily find the uh, Hessian of this one, and after seeing Hessian you had already claimed that this log sum exponential is a convex function. Now we will try to find application of this log sum exponential in another function like softmax function, loss function related with softmax function, and other different generalization of those functions. So we will talk about those, how to establish convexity of those functions with the help of log sum exponential function. What we will observe that, so this log sum exponential function, it will work like h, outside function h. And h, what is the criteria? H is always, it must be convex and convex and increasing in this composition category, and increasing. So these two. So log sum x is satisfying both the criteria. So convexity, if you want to look to see convexity of this log sum x exponential, so through second order factorization, uh, it is taking derivative of Hessian of this function is taking very simple form, and it is always greater than equal to 0 by defining corresponding quadratic form. So this quadratic form we had already seen that this is the quadratic form, and this quadratic Hessian in the quadratic form is always greater than equal to 0, and it is also a definition of being a positive semi-definite matrix. So that's why Hessian is a matrix. It would be a positive semi-definite matrix. One plot for two variable case I have taken from the plot. Also, it can be visualized that this log sum x is a convex function because it is having a positive curvature. So further, so in order to visualize this, during that second order characterization we had come across this inequality, and that means it says that this term is always greater than equal to second term, this inequality implies. So that's why the Hessian of this function log sum exponential is always a convex function, because Hessian is always greater than equal to 0, and Hessian is positive definite, positive semi-definite, that's why it is a convex function, that we had already seen that. So we will talk about application of this one. What is the application? So one application of this one here I will talk about. Suppose you are willing to define convexity of this one. So it is not log sum exponential, it is just little bit complicated than last case, because it is function of this hyperplane as well, collection of hyperplane. So it is coming like, but hyperplane if you are taking this, this is always a convex function, being a affine function, it is always a convex function for each pair of W and V. So what? So there is a step to prove convexity of this kind of function. First, we have to look into uh, this inside function, most inside function. That means under the summation, what does it look? It is exponential of this linear function or affine function, and we now know that affine function is always a convex function. And if you take exponential of a convex function, then again that previous theorem you can claim that it is a convex function. Exponential of a convex function is always a convex function. There is no issue. Okay, then what we will do, then we will talk about summation. Summation of convex function is again a convex function. Due to that, we know that conic combination of convex function, it happens to be convex. Now if someone is saying that simply, now in next step directly, if you apply uh, you are applying logarithmic over this one, this convex function. If you try to reason it out, that log of a convex function is convex, then that reasoning is wrong. It is wrong, because if you take, you know that x, if you take simply x is a convex function, y equal to x, if you take, it is a convex function because it is a line. But if you define uh, apply log over this one, the log x is not a convex function. So if simply you apply logarithmic over a convex function, then that function resultant function may not be convex, or may not be convex. It depends upon scenarios. We can't say anything about that. So here x is a convex function. Once we apply log x over it, it becomes this kind of concave function, like this way. Like if someone is taking another kind of function, root x. Root x is again concave function. If you take log of this one, uh, half log x will come. So half log x is a concave function. So we can't say anything about if we just apply logarithmic over a convex function or concave function. It may or may not preserve convexity. So it is a very complicated kind of things. That's way, try to look this function in different perspective. If you try to look this function as log sum exponential of this affine function, then we had already seen that log sum exponential function is always a convex function. In the last slide from second order factorization, we had already seen that this one is your h function. It is always a convex function. Because why? Because it is a log sum exponential and it is having positive semi-definite Hessian. So that's why it is convex. Log sum exponential is convex. Also, it is increasing with respect to argument as well. It is convex, also increasing with respect to argument. How? You can look into like this way. Uh, if you take log sum, just take for example log sum exponential, that means I'm talking about log sum exponential, simple exponential. I'm taking it e to the power xi. So it is a increasing in argument is what here, e to the power ix. I varies from 1 to m. Suppose you have taken m number of function. So if suppose you are taking just 2 m equal to 2, then what would be this? It would be log of e to the power x1 plus e to the power x2. So can we say that it is a increasing function with respect to argument? Yes, definitely. If you try to focus on this one and fix this one, take don't give any attention to this one, so it will be, definitely it will be there. So if you focus on this one, then definitely consider it is always a positive quantity. E to the power x2 is always a positive quantity. So with respect to this one, you will observe that this log sum exponential, it is a increasing function. Similarly, if you take several value of x2 and just consider this one is a positive part, it is just contributing positively. So again you will observe that log sum exponential is increasing with respect to second argument as well. So that's why log sum exponential is convex as well as increasing. And now log sum exponential, it is a function of this new function, call it it is this new affine function. So that's why uh, call this function g, inside function g. So that's way here it is composition of what h of, in simply you can say that it is composition of h of g, where g happens to be a convex function and h is your convex as well as a non. Okay, fine. So due to that you can claim that this function is your convex function. Now there are many other examples I have given here. So you can establish uh, convexity of this function in the similar fashion what we discussed in last case. So here in place of uh, this affine function uh, AI transpose or WI transpose X plus BI, I have taken any general convex function GI. So similarly, you can establish this one, concept of this one. Step one, that you know that GI is already given, it is convex. GI is convex. Okay. So due to that, it will imply that if you take exponential of any convex function, then that would be definitely a convex function. E to the power gx, it would be a convex function. Then next, what it is talking about, this component sum of convex function. Sum of convex function is again convex, summation of e to the power g I x, summation varies from 1 to m. So it is again a convex. And in third, what you will do, you will express this function how it would be log sum, your h function would be log sum exponential, exponential, log sum exponential. So it is a very famous kind of function of g. Due to that, you can claim that this one is a convex function. But if you try to apply from here, you had already seen that this one is a convex function, and if you apply logarithmic over convex function, then logarithmic over a convex function may not be a convex, but log sum exponential is a convex function. And if you apply this, if you log some x over a function, convex function, then the resultant would be always a convex function, because if you consider this is always a what kind of function, it is always convex and increasing function or non-decreasing function due to that. So another example is that if you are taking your activation function, generally for multi classification, if you are taking your exponential software function as a activation function, here z is defined like this way, and then it is talking about categorical distribution over output. We are not talking about convexity of this software function, loss of this specific loss of this software function with respect to input or parameter w. We are talking about convexity of associated loss function given by entropy uh, loss with respect to this x. We are talking about with respect to this x. So this x is what? It is input to softmax function. This x is input to softmax function, and your loss function happens to be convex with respect to this x. That means input to that whatever software function, wherever you, in which layer you are applying. So with respect to that, it is a this loss is a convex function. because it is coming with respect to cross entropy. You can't say you have to remember that beware that uh, if you are saying that your this loss function with respect to this software function whatever you are getting, and you will claim that it would be convex with respect to input or parameter or weight, then that one is a wrong result. Conversely, just you have to look with respect to only output, that output you are getting to softmax function in order to normalize. So no, so what is the main application of softmax function that we need to know? We always willing to normalize given set of vector, a given fixed dimension of vector into 0 and 1, 0 1 range. So that's why normalizing. So here that's why we are talking about convexity of this loss function, very specific loss function with respect to output one. If you want to know something more about this enclosing function H, so it is completely depends upon characterized by the enclosing function H. So you have to know a lot about. So there is one more criteria it is talking about. If H is convex and this one is the extensor of H, that means suppose H is defined in a smaller set S, then H wave, that means S is a subset of R. Then what is meaning of extension of H wave? It says that X is H wave extension of H, simply I of H equal to H of X when X is coming from the domain S. If X is not coming from the domain, when X is coming from the domain of S, but suppose if F is not, X is not coming from the domain of function H, in that case H wave it will take infinity. But that simply it says that this function is H is, it says that H is not defined outside its domain. So if there is some constant domain, it is not a full domain, then in that case you have to go for such kind of extension of function. So domain of H, S is here, it is domain of H. So that is criteria. So H is convex and uh, extension of H, it is non-decreasing. What does it mean? That the domain of H extends infinitely in the negative direction. That means domain of this, it will go like this way. It will proceed like this way. And similarly, if H is convex and this extension of H is non-increasing, that means equivalent to say that decreasing, means domain of H extend infinitely in the positive direction. So it would be either A to plus infinity, or this one is here enclosing uh, excluding A, and here including A as well. So these are very interesting kind of this enclosing function H. H here we are taking it log X. Log X is, it can work, it can act as enclosing function. So I had taken two criteria. H, if H you are taking concave, then that time we need to put non-increasing, that means decreasing concept. If H is convex, then we have to put a non-decreasing, that means increasing criteria. So just we are taking few examples. If you are taking log X, it is concave and it is non-decreasing. If you take root X, so this one is also again concave and it is non-decreasing. There are several ways you can look into all those. So I would like to go to next step, that I will talk about partial minimization. So what does it talk about partial minimization? So suppose you are having function g, which is where argument of that variable has been segregated into two blocks, x block and y block. And suppose C, the variable y from where it is coming, C is a convex set. That means y is in, all y are in C. So what we will do, we will try to minimize the function g with respect to y. So it is what kind of function? It is a convex optimization function. That means we are minimizing a convex function. So we do partial minimization over a convex set. So the resultant function fx, it would be just because y has been exhausted, now it would be just function of x. So this function is always a convex function. It is just opposite of that we have defined support of a set. So you might have already seen the support of a set, how we define support of a set in a particular direction. If you are taking in a set C, then in that case, whenever we are defining support of a set, there was no special condition over the set S. C may be convex, non-convex. So support of the set was what? It was defined as a point-wise supremum or maximization. So that means supremum of uh, transpose x transpose y is coming from C. So here this C was not necessarily a convex set. So again this one was a convex function. It was here C may or may not be a convex set, but here if you are defining a partial minimization by dividing the segregating the variable into two form x and y, then you always minimize over a convex set. So this one is a convex function. So that's why I told that minimization is, while doing minimization you have to be careful in order to preserve the convexity. So one example I have taken it here. So if you are taking function of two variable x square plus y square, and if you are willing to minimize with respect to y, after minimizing with respect to y, what function you will get? You will get function just x square, and x square happens to be a, from the graph easily you can look into that, it is a convex function. So there is one more definition, that distance. If you are taking any convex set C and take any point x, and if you are defining distance of x with respect to C, if suppose C is in x is in C, in that case what is the distance of x with respect to C? It would be 0. And if x is not in C, then it will have a positive distance. So this is the distance function. Also you can call it distance function. Distance function of a point with respect to a set, it would be always a convex set. So we will solve also this problem later. So right now just I am talking about from function perspective. There are something more, that if you are taking this generalized kind of quadratic function, and what happens here, here a variable has been segregated in two blocks, x block and y block. So again this function is, if you do partial minimization of this function either with respect to x or with respect to y, under this condition we know that this function would be a convex function. If you do partial minimization, then resultant function would be this x transpose A minus B C dagger B transpose. C dagger, it is talking about pseudo inverse of C. It is just when we will solve optimization from that time using duality or Lagrange duality concept, that time these things I will calculate it because it is minimization, we are minimizing with respect to y. So it is similar to do that. We will find the gradient of this function with respect to y only, and we equate to 0, and after that manipulation we will get to know what would be. So through that manipulation we will come across these kind of things. So it is not right now it may look complicated, but everything is having very interesting theory. So it is a C dagger, we are calling it pseudo inverse. Pseudo inverse, it can be defined with respect to SVD. Whenever it is needed I will discuss that time. Right now I'm just talking about how to establish convexity. It is a pseudo inverse we are calling it of C. So when a function is so suppose a matrix is not a square matrix, or not a singular matrix, a non-singular matrix, or suppose you are taking a matrix which is rectangular m by n order, where m is not equal to n, that means it is not a square matrix. And suppose in that case, simply that matrix you can say that it is a singular matrix. So if there is a singular matrix, if it is a square matrix, what is the definition of singular matrix? For a square matrix, definition of singular matrix, that determinant should be 0. So it is a criteria of singular matrix. If you are having singular matrix, either it is a rectangular, or if it is a square, then determinant is 0. In that case, such matrix we call it singular matrix. So simply we can't find inverse of that. Inverse is not possible. So inverse we can find another inverse. That inverse we are calling pseudo inverse. Pseudo inverse with the help of SVD. So what my suggestion is that you go and revise SVD from previous course. Otherwise, I will take one class over SVD if you if a request will come from your side. So SVD is very interesting concept. Through with the help of SVD, we can define this pseudo inverse kind of concept. It is a very generalized concept, and also it is helping a lot in regression as well, directly to find the approximate solution of a regression. So and also, if you are willing to see much about SVD, you can watch Gilbert Armstrong video lecture recently in 2018 course. You can watch. You will get a lot of information regarding that. Okay, it is already time. So in next class we will cover other things. So today we will again discuss about